Hello and welcome to the Remedy Fibers podcast, a podcast about knitting and crochet hosted by me, Jillian. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returner, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Thank you everyone who's been tuning in and subscribing. This week's episode is more so of a check-in. I thought that I can do this episode last week, but time is getting the better of me. I really need to come up with a better time to record. We're going to keep trying to make it work. However, the good news is that the school year is over. We have completed another successful academic year, and now we're into the summer season where it kind of quiets a little bit more. We're into summer planning mode, and then I'll be starting my maternity leave, I want to say next month already. So tomorrow I will be 35 weeks and we are in the countdown. There's only a couple more weeks left to go. I think the countdown right now is like 36 days. So we are starting to prepare and get ready and trying to learn everything that we need to know. But for today's episode, I'll be showing you what I've been knitting on, what I've been crocheting, a quick few updates, and just how life has been going for me. But if you're new here, I live in Northern California with my husband and dog Benny, soon to be my little baby. And I love everything knitting and crochet related, and I hope you stay for my yarn journey. So let's get started with the bad news. Ever since I entered the third trimester, I've been having very bad hand pain. My hands have been cramping when I'm trying to knit or crochet. I'll work on a project for maybe less than 10 rows and then I'll have to put it down, or I'll try to work through it and then I'll wake up in the middle of the night with like tingling or numbness or pain. And I learned that it's quite common to develop carpal tunnel in pregnancy. It could go away, it possibly could not go away. And I know that one of the remedies is to do like hand stretches or to get some type of brace for my hand, so while I'm knitting and crocheting I can maintain some compression. But my right hand is severely being impacted, and it's really upsetting because, you know, I love to knit and crochet, I love to create things. Right now I'm making a lot of things for baby, and it's really putting my progress at a much slower pace than I'm used to. So sadly, if you have any advice for me, I would gladly welcome it, but at this time the projects are just going to be a lot slower because it hurts to knit and crochet. So before we jump into finished objects, I'm going to tell you about a project that went wrong. So I was working on the baby bear suit by Pernille Larson. I was following the instructions. My count was off pretty much for the whole project, but I wasn't going to let that discourage me. I also had a hard time conceptualizing what I was doing, and it wasn't until I was almost done with the hood of the sweater when I finally realized that it was going really good, it was really cute, and then I just got so angry that it's not only frogged, but I'm not gonna work on this project. It was not enjoyable. I'm sorry, Pernille. I'm sorry if this is something that you want to create. Do it on your own. I'm not recommending it. I mean, it's cute. Will I give it another chance in the future? Maybe once I let my anger calm me down, then I would. But this is a picture of the baby bear suit, just so you have some reference of what I'm talking about. And then this is how far I got along with the hood. So I was making the 6-month size for baby because in 6 months it will most likely be December time frame, cold. It's more appropriate than being a July baby wearing a baby bear suit. So this is the hood where you cast on the rim, the ribbing part first, and then the ear construction was really cool. You kind of put it on waste yarn to eventually seam that up, but it started actually looking like a real baby bear hood. Obviously I don't have the size of a baby's head, but you know, you could see where we were going here. I got really upset when it was time to seam these pieces together, and this is a paid for pattern, by the way, but it said to seam it a certain way. I forgot what it said, and it said to put it, anywho, I'm not gonna get into it. The pattern is correct. I misread it. This is my own fault, and I said I want to make it right. I want to make sure that I'm doing it to how the pattern's supposed to be, because when I finished seaming it, I didn't realize that this line started forming, and I was actually supposed to do it the other way, which you can see here there wouldn't have been a seam. So I said, you know what, let me rip it back, let me undo what I was doing. And by doing so, it was attached to other stitches in the hood that everything started unraveling. And I got so upset, I got so frustrated. I said there's no point in trying to rip back that seam, and I was also seaming it pretty tight. I said there's no point in trying to undo that seam when all of this is falling apart. I'm gonna have to start from scratch. And this project was new for me. It's a learning curve. I never did a hood before, and I just didn't have the patience. I was aggravated. Also, it's really hard for me to understand why I'm making warm garments when it's so hot outside. So I decided to frog this, never look back at it again. Maybe in the future, maybe not. But as of right now, this was a project gone wrong. So now we'll move on to finished objects. I have one finished object for the week, and I finished my granny square throw for baby, and I used the cinnamon swirl Karen cakes. Originally I only had one ball of yarn for this, and during a spontaneous micro strip I decided to pick up another ball. It was really weird because every time I went to go check out this particular ball of yarn, it was ringing up $12 to $14, but it was in the sales section for $5, and even when I went online it still wasn't on sale. So I don't know what was happening. I still got the $5 deal. So overall this blanket cost me $10, but you can see it's really huge, really massive. The only thing I have to do is probably sew in this edge, and I ran out of yarn, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to rip back an entire row just so it can be even flat, or since it's for a baby, just kind of close this in and no one is going to pay attention to that. I also was thinking maybe I can add a border just to kind of lock in the final stripe, but I'm not sure if I have a color or a size that goes with this. So it's finished, but it's kind of like a little bit of finishing, a little touching up for this. But as I mentioned, this reminds me of Hot Wheels. I feel like it'll be a nice color to add to baby's room, but overall I'm really happy with it. And this was my car project, so every time we were in the car, it stayed in the car. I took it out during like whenever I wanted to work on it or during slow time. So loved having a car project. I have a car project right now in the car, which I'll talk about during works in progress. Overall, so happy for this, and very, very colorful. So for my next work in progress, you may remember that I wanted to cast on the Amran shawl. It's a one skein shawl, and I wanted to use my birthday yarn that I got last November at Firebird Yarns. However, me and that pattern were not getting along. We were not clicking, and honestly, I don't have the patience to figure out what's going on with the short rows, why it's looking a little wonky. So I decided out of my comfort zone that I wanted to cast on a plain vanilla sock. And I used some leftover white yarn. It was working up really pretty, really beautiful. And that's when I realized the carpal tunnel was getting the better of me, because I would wake up like at 4 a.m. with these two fingers, which is, I knit English style. So I'm throwing with my right hand. So I knit English style, and I woke up in the middle of the night with my two fingers numb, tingling, wrist pain. I said, oh, I've never felt this pain before. And then I would take a break, and I said, okay, let me try up again. Same thing would happen the following day. So I know that with very small needles, it can be triggering for anybody. But then when I started looking up pregnancy symptoms, developing carpal tunnel can be a symptom of pregnancy. So for right now, it's going to stay socks at this current time and moment. I'm not ready to unfrog it. I'm hoping that the carpal tunnel goes away, or I can have some remedy so I can work on this, because originally this was going to be my car project. It was going to replace my granny square that I just finished, and it's looking really pretty. I was going to make a long sock just so I can use a lot of yardage for this, and these were going to be my birthday socks just because I wasn't really feeling that Amran shawl. So it's really pretty. I wish that there wasn't so much pain that I was having when knitting on these, but as for right now, it's just gonna have to sit in the closet on the shelf until my hand gets better. And then if you're interested, because I'm using the 9-inch circulars, I would recommend the pattern, the Rhinebeck Roomies by the Crazy Sock Lady. I don't follow the pattern design, I just follow the cast on number of stitches, and then I work plain vanilla socks until I'm ready to get to the rest of the sock. But there's some intricacies, there's some textural pieces that you can do when knitting the sock. I ignore all of those. I just wanted a pattern that fits for 9-inch circulars versus magic loop. The next work in progress is a cardigan. I do have good news. This one is going well. I am having hand pain with it, but I am able to manage to crochet a couple of rows before I can put it down. So this is using the yarn that I was originally going to use for my baby bear suits, and so I'm repurposing the yarn. And good thing is I am going to have enough. I have a little bit of a ball left, tiny bit of a ball left, and then I have a 1 full ball to work on the sleeve. So this is the Ponderosa Cardigan by Esther Kozma. It is worsted weight yarn, and it is a paid for pattern. So look at how cute the cardigan is coming along. This will be baby's first cardigan, first crochet cardigan, and it's top down. I love how easy it was to add the ribbing. Obviously, once it's blocked, it'll stretch out a little bit more, flatten out a little bit. But right now I'm working on the sleeve. Look how little. So this is the 6-month size. And as I mentioned, he's going to be 6 months-ish in the winter time. So it'll be perfect for then. But just working on the sleeve for now. The body's done, the ribbing in the front is done, and then once I finish the sleeves, I should be done with this cute little cardigan. I can't believe humans are this little. I mean, I know this looks kind of big. He'll definitely be smaller than this when he's born, but just crazy that it's like a little sweater for a little person. Overall, this is a really great pattern to follow. I have no confusion. There's even photo diagrams in the pattern to kind of help you with the ribbing or other parts. One learning curve in this pattern is it does require you to know the half herringbone double crochet. So that one is a little bit hard to, it's not hard, but I'm so used to double crochet that it's a step that you're kind of omitting. And so when you're switching from herringbone half double crochet and then you have to stop the ribbing for double crochet, it's hard to readjust your mind to regular double crochet again. So it's nothing hard, it just takes some practice to get used to a new stitch. But that's how come I feel like the stitches are more close together, more compact than the double crochet. They feel like they're a little bit tighter. So this is the Ponderosa cardigan. I would highly recommend if you're crocheting for a baby, but very fun. You can add buttons. I guess that's my only pet peeve, is the buttonholes are not incorporated in the ribbing. That's something that you have to work out yourself. And I was just ribbing. I didn't even think about it. And then afterwards I said, wait, where's the buttonholes? So I said, oh, he's 6 months. When he wears this, he'll be 6 months. He's not buttoning a sweater. I don't need that. So for now, I'm gonna just omit that part because I really don't want to go back and try to figure out how to add the buttonholes. Maybe I can add fake buttons or magnet buttons, but that's the only downside. You have to calculate the separation for the buttonholes. You have to add the buttonholes, and that just was something that I missed when I was crocheting this. This weekend I was able to do a little bit of yarn shopping. I was able to visit Knitique over at Elk Grove, California. I got this really cute bag and I'll show you what's inside now. So I was able to stop by Knitique. It was just a spontaneous trip. I wanted to do a little bit of yarn shopping, and I picked up this beautiful Madeline Tosh hand-dyed merino twist light. And this is in the colorway Spring Fever. And I was shocked that there's 474 yards in this massive skein. I really love the variegation, the colors, the pinks of course. And last weekend or 2 weekends ago, there was actually a Golden State yarn crawl with neighboring yarns all participating pretty much close to my area. But life happened and I was unable to attend the yarn crawl. They did, however, have this as a feature. They had a shawl, I think it's called the Anvia shawl, knit up on display, and that's what really caught my attention. So I want to make that exact same shawl. Even though I wasn't able to participate in the Golden State Yarn Crawl, I feel like because I picked up this skein and I'll work on that shawl, it'll kind of feel like I was part of it. So one thing I really liked, and this was new to me because I don't remember getting this last time I went, is they gave me a rewards card. So every time I spend a minimum of $15, I'll get the card marked off, and then once I complete the card, I can get 20% off my next purchase. So I wanted to wind this up Saturday right away, but I was trying to work on some of my other projects. My only downside is it does call for a US 6, which I have the needles here just so I have no excuse to get started. But I am a little bit worried about the carpal tunnel flaring up. I'm still going to give it a try. Hopefully the US 6 doesn't give me such agitation in my hands. But I've been trying to make a shawl. I tried making the almond shawl. Hopefully I have better luck with the Anvia shawl. I'm just really confused with the short row shaping and the asymmetrical shawl shapes. I really like a really simple, symmetrical type of shawl. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm gonna give it a try and I'll keep you updated how it goes. But overall, love the colors, love the sparkles, love the, well, there's no sparkles, I guess the speckles. I love the speckles, the brightness of color. And one thing that I want to do going into the summer months, going into the rest of the year, is to knit with more color. So obviously there's lots of color all around me, but I really don't want to fall into the trap of I'm picking these neutral colors because it goes with my wardrobe, it goes with my aesthetics. I feel like I always love that example of the pendulum where you swing back and forth until you find your happy medium. So when I started my beginning knitting and crochet journey, I liked color, everything was colorful, fun, variegated, speckles, everything. And then it kind of swung to, well, I wanted to fit in my wardrobe, I wanted to be able to wear it with my regular everyday work clothes. And now I'm kind of swinging back to, well, I want color, but I still want it to match with my everyday work clothes. So I feel like knitting and crochet should be fun, colorful, exciting, great visual for the eye, but I also don't want it to sit in the closet, sit on a shelf and not be able to wear it. And one podcast that I'm really enjoying is Sprinkled Fibers. They have so many fun colors, variegation, neons, and I love Lindsay and her mom. They were saying that knitting and crochet should be happy and filled with fun colors, and that's kind of what I'm needing in my life right now. They are going to have a knit along, I think starting in July, and if you want to participate in their knit along, you can actually get some fiber for the knit along starting next weekend, June 22nd, and I think I want to buy some of it. The only thing that I'm going to say is that if you want to get in on the knit along, go watch their last episode because those kits are going to fly. I thought that I can get a previous kit that they were selling, and I think it's sold out in a few hours. So those kits are gonna fly. If you have your eye on them, go to their Instagram, go to their YouTube so you can figure out how you can purchase them, because they don't have a website. You have to DM them starting 9 a.m. Pacific time. So they have the instructions for that. I don't want to mislead you, but I'm thinking of joining. The only downside is that the shawl that they're going to be doing a knit along for is asymmetrical, and I just told you that I'm having a hard time figuring out the short rows and the German short rows. So we'll see how it goes. That's my only hesitancy if I want to join this knit along or join a future knit along. I don't want asymmetrical shawls to scare me, but also I want something easy. Just with trying to have a calm, relaxing knitting experience, I don't want anything to cause me stress or to get frustrated. I just want simple right now. So definitely check out their YouTube and Instagram. It's very fun to see the different color combinations that they're working on. And right now I want to try to find more knit alongs or crochet alongs. I need someone to hold me accountable, keep me accountable, but I also like the sense of community when you're knitting and working on a project with other people. I love to see the project updates when they have a Ravelry page or a Facebook page to see what everyone's working on. So that's something that I want to kind of keep me grounded, keep me to finishing my projects and not just starting them and then putting them aside. But overall, for life updates, I'm feeling pretty normal. I am having back pain. It is getting harder to kind of just get up normally. I'm still trying to do my walks daily, trying to eat and not eat everything or crave everything. And as we get closer to the due date, it is a little bit nerve-wracking and anxiety-inducing, but I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and do the best that I can because it is such a big deal for me to become a new mom. This past week, it was this week or last week, I had a baby shower at work. It was really beautiful, sweet. I got so many beautiful gifts from my co-workers and I'm really thankful and appreciative of all of them. We'll probably start putting the stroller and car seat together soon and try to just organize things and make it baby ready. I'll be moving probably in a few weeks, which is so crazy that I'm moving so close to the due date, but we're just gonna make it work and hopefully the baby is patient so that we can set up their room, get settled in, adjust to the new space. But overall, I'm so excited to be a new mom and take care of baby. He's been moving a lot and I think we actually did a handshake on it, so I think we have the baby's name. We're both a little bit indecisive. I think I'm a little bit more indecisive than Bright is, but I think 99.9% we have the baby's name. But we'll still see him and see if it's like the name that matches him, but that took a long time to come up with. But let me know what you're working on, what projects you have on the queue, if you have any advice for the carpal tunnel that I'm experiencing. But overall, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you and your family are happy, healthy, and safe, and talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.